Hello, my beautiful people. I'm back at it again with another Christmas review, and today I'm going to be talking about a movie that I can't decide whether or not I think it's good or not, and that is It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie. Holy crap, this is a weird one. I know, it's the Muppets. These guys are already really freaking weird, but even by Muppet standards, this is a weird movie. This movie starts off like a traditional holiday movie with a talking snowman narrator who is voiced by Mel Brooks, which is awesome. And then this other Muppet just comes in saying, "Hey, what are you doing? We don't need a snowman narrator." And the Mel Brooks snowman is pissed. But then it takes a tonal shift as we cut to the Muppet Theater and they're having an office Christmas party, and Kermit and Fozzie walks in all depressed, and Kermit is talking about how they just lost everything, like they just lost the theater. You're just like, whoa, what happened? And then Kermit goes out in the cold outside and sits on a park bench and freezes to death. Then we cut to heaven, which looks like a cubicle for some reason, and this angel named Daniel is watching over Kermit, being like, yo, something's gotta be done about this. So he goes to God and asks her, yo, Kermit really needs some help. And God is like, yeah, Kermit usually has things figured out. We're gonna need some proof. So for the next 40 minutes or so of the film, we're figuring out why Kermit was so freaking sad. Apparently, the Muppets are in debt, and they owe money to the bank, which is run by this lady named Mrs. Bitterman. And if they don't pay the bank by midnight on Christmas Eve, then the bank gets a hold of the Muppet Theater. We get to see a whole lot of different types of fun Muppet gags. Miss Piggy goes on Scrubs, where she plays an extra dead body, but Miss Piggy, being the diva she is, tries to go, "I'm alive!" Rizzo bumps his nose and it turns red, so he's kind of has a bit of a Rudolph thing going on. And Pepe actually joins Mrs. Bitterman and turns into such a simp for her. Oh wait, he's not a simp, he's a prawn. Get it? So the Muppets actually raise the money to get them out of debt with the bank due to the tickets, because, you know, the Muppets are pretty famous. But Mrs. Bitterman really wants to turn the Muppet Theater into a nightclub, so she actually changes the time from midnight to 6 o'clock without telling the Muppets. So Pepe rushes over back to the theater and tells Kermit, and Kermit's like, well, crap. Somebody better get over to the bank. And right before this, they did this big, giant Moulin Rouge parody for some reason in their Christmas special. It's actually not a bad parody. It's Muppet insanity to the max. And it's a fun segment, really. I don't know why they decided to do that in particular. Probably because it was popular at the time, but it just seems a little odd to throw in the middle of your Christmas special. And they don't use the Muppet Show theme song. Why? Instead, we have a little bit of an introduction by Jerry Nelson. And speaking of some old Muppet performers, I do believe that this was his last performance with the Muppets before retiring. And this was also the first major Muppet project that has Eric Jacobson replacing many of the Frank Oz characters, such as Miss Piggy and Fozzie. And he has been doing a really good job with those characters, and it's honestly kind of hard to tell the difference between him and Frank Oz half the time. So Fozzie ends up taking the money to the bank. And this is probably the one of the weirdest parts of the movie. He encounters a Steve Irwin impersonator who's saying that there's a bunch of crocodiles everywhere. And then he sees that Fozzie is a bear. So he hunts down Fozzie. Then the snowman narrator from earlier shows up. And then Steve Irwin hits the snowman with a tranquilizer dart. And then Fozzie enters a Christmas tree farm, gets spray painted green, bumps into Santa and drops his bag of money, picks the bag up again. And because he's green and furry and first up here, people dressed as the Who's from The Grinch show up. They think he's the Grinch, and they're speaking in rhyme. So Fozzie runs away from there. Then he goes into a sauna and gets all the green off of him, but the bag is still green. The bag wasn't green earlier. There was a big old money sign on it. And so he makes it to the bank, and because Miss Bitterman is so evil, she does not want the Muppets to succeed. She puts a bunch of lasers up, and Fozzie just runs through the freaking lasers. And he delivers the bag to Mrs. Bitterman, and it's full of the laundry from the Santa that Fozzie bumped into. He grabbed the wrong bag, and now it's 6 o'clock. So, yeah. The Muppets just lost the theater. Kermit tries to convince Mrs. Bitterman to give him the theater back, but she just crushed Kermit's dreams, like, right in front of him. God sends Daniel down as Kermit's angel to, settle things out. And then he almost kills Kermit. Kermit's hopes and dreams are down, and so he wishes that he was never born. That's right. In case he couldn't put the pieces together now, this isn't It's a Wonderful Lifestyle film. Daniel takes Kermit into a world where he was never born. The park was somehow turned into a mall. Here we can see that Gonzo is homeless. And I don't think Gonzo would be homeless. I think that he would be, a plumber like he was in the Muppet movie. And speaking of the Muppet movie, Doc Hopper's frog legs is a thing. There's one in the mall. The Electric Mayhem is an Irish folk band. And Rizzo was on Fear Factor and is about to be eaten by a lady who is afraid of rats. Keep in mind, rats can talk in the Muppet world. That's pretty screwed up. Kermit goes ahead and sees that the Muppet Theater was turned into a nightclub. Scooter freaking cage dances. The Muppets, ladies and gentlemen. Scooter cage dancing, and Robin being abused, and Statler and Waldorf being perverts. Somehow Beaker is buff? Like, how would Kermit not be born make Beaker buff? And speaking like, what would Kermit have to do with that? Like, half of these, you're just wondering, like, what does Kermit have to do with most of these? Like, yeah, the positions in the Muppet Theater, those are understandable. Like, Beaker being buff, that kind of makes no sense. Like, how would Kermit not being there make Beaker buff? Or how would Kermit not being there make Gonzo homeless? Doesn't he still have that plumbing business that he was doing? I can buy the fact that Fozzie would be homeless. He would be a little bit of a penny pincher, failed comedian, So Kermit goes to Miss Piggy's house, and Miss Piggy is a crazy cat lady now, who is a phone sex operator. And this is probably the part of the special that people talk about the most nowadays. This special came out in 2002, and this is a world where Kermit never existed. And in Miss Piggy's apartment, we can see the Twin Towers. So somehow, Kermit caused 9/11. So Miss Piggy kicks out Kermit, and Kermit is scouring the mall for Daniel. Then he comes across Gonzo, and him and Kermit sing a song called Everyone Matters, and this made me cry. I did not expect to cry during this movie, and yeah, I was crying like a little baby. Did not expect that. Daniel gives Kermit his life back. Kermit's back in his reality, and Pepe decided to have the government declare the Muppet Theater as a historical landmark, so Miss Bitterman can't turn it into a nightclub. Happy ending! Although it can be shut down a decade later and have the Muppets go off on their separate ways. Happy ending? So overall, I am very conflicted on whether or not this is a good movie, because there's a lot of things that I really like about it. It does have the Muppet mayhem that I love from them, and it does have some fun songs, and it gives off some strong Christmas vibes of togetherness and family, but it is weird. Half the time, you kind of forget you're watching the Muppets with the all angel stuff, and especially during the nightclub scene. You do get the Muppet mayhem and Christmas whimsy, but you also get Scooter Cage dancing. And I don't like that. Overall, this movie, it exists. I don't think this is a good movie. I also don't think this is a bad movie. It just needs to be seen to be believed. It is Muppet craziness cranked up to 11. I thought that the Great Muppet Caper was the most Muppety craziness thing I've ever seen, but no. This just goes beyond just the typical Muppet craziness. This is like if you give a child that's on a sugar rush 10 pounds of cocaine and then another 10 pounds of more sugar. It's that freaking insane. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like this movie? Do you not? Have you seen it? Let me know, because this thing is wild. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for this video. Please let me know what you thought about the movie, and please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments below, and be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified on when videos are uploaded. I have a whole bunch of fun Christmas videos planned for the rest of the month, and I'll see you later. Bye!